Welcome to Caching Waves. This is your Elliott Wave update for DOT. Now, since the low, unfortunately, it's not as bullish as I'd like it to be, but we have an A, B, C to the upside off the low. We came between the 1.236 and the 382 extension of our wave A off our B for our C wave. We then made a pretty nice three-wave move as a flat. We'll zoom in here so you can see. You see we have a 3 up past 70%, our minimum requirement, and 5 waves down to complete our C. So we have an ABC in a flat pattern for an A wave. We pushed just past the 786, just shy of the 1-to-1 extension. Now, there's a few different ways to read this one, and I'll show you why it's pretty much a no trade zone for me at the moment. I don't expect us just to take off here in an impulse because we only have 3 waves up to the upside. I'd expect us to move correctively. I put my time fib on. We are currently not even at the 618 if this is the low, so seems unlikely based on that evidence. So when I see a move off the bottom, I have to consider, okay, what else can be happening? I think there's 2 options. One is, this is our A wave in 3. We're working on 3 waves to the upside. It's at that 1-to-1. If we pass the 70%, a potential for a pivot to the downside in 5 waves, looking for the 1-to-1 extension of this A wave off the B before a potential pivot again to the upside. So that's scenario 1. Scenario 2, which I think is least likely, that scenario 1 is my primary, but if we come and tag the 1-to-1 and we don't move impulsively to the downside, say we come up to the 1-to-1 and we retrace more of in a channel, come back to the 50 and the 618 of this 3-wave move, I can see us moving in 3 or 5 to the upside. And again, you've heard me say this many a times, that would be a bullish scenario because I would expect this to be a flat, a very large flat in that scenario, and then our move to the upside. So the area of interest immediately is either a short, and I will play that a very specific way, or if we grind sideways in this area, eat up some time, I'm potentially interested in a 1-to-1 extension of this wave here as an A, B, C for a B wave, and potentially a C wave down. But you can see it's very difficult because our time does not line up, so I don't think this correction is done. We only have 3 up from the bottom. We haven't reached the 50 and the 618 yet. I think we have on linear. Yeah, on linear we have, but on log we haven't. But it just does not look complete to me yet. This isn't impulsive. We go down to the hourly. If you look at this move, it's not impulsive. I currently have this as a triangle. So it's more of an A, B. We got a wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 5. So looking to tag that 1-to-1, and I may be interested in a short at that point. But if we don't get that fast move to the downside again and we just grind sideways in a channel, that's your tell that we're potentially moving to the upside. Right there is your tell. So if we start moving sideways in a channel, break a 618 retracement, this is all evidence that we're moving to the upside. Whereas if we just fall down in 5 quick waves like this, start to retrace, that's a much different reaction than the one you see in blue. So this is your big area for the tell of what the next likely move is. So how I usually trade these scenarios is once we hit the 1-to-1 and I have a clean 5 in this wave here, is I'm a little more risk adverse. I only have a risk 1% per trade, but what I would do is wait for that 5th wave to the upside. I won't just enter a short in that area, stop at this high, which is your standard setup, targeting whatever the 1-to-1 will be. a regular 2-to-1, I'd be a little more risk adverse and know that I might have to enter this trade 2 or 3 times. But the way I will do it, so wait for this 5th wave to the upside. If we get something like this, and once we start to drop to the downside, I will have a trigger order below the 4th wave pivot whenever it ends. Hopefully it's nice and clean so it's easy to spot. And my stop will go to the high of the 5th wave here in the C wave. So I will not enter this trade until the market comes to me. And then I get triggered in and stop is at the previous pivot high. And what that allows me to do, if you saw we had that, it was about a 2-to-1. If we get the 1-to-1, I actually get 4 or 5-to-1, depending where our 1-to-1 is. Or even more, as you can see, if we take that 1-to-1, about 5-to-1. So 2-to-1 versus 5-to-1. But I also have to keep in mind it could be a false break to the downside, and we're actually in a B wave in a 4th, and we just get one more spike up and then collapse. So there's no right answer. It's just trade-offs. I'm willing to take it more than once to get that higher position size. But that's what I'm looking for on DOT. I can't see how it just takes off. I could be proven wrong. But most importantly is what happens in this area. Do we drift sideways, in which case I would expect the flat scenario, or do we just collapse and come down to the 1-to-1? This area will give it away slightly, and we can get evidence for which way the market's going to move. So that's it for DOT, guys. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.